everyone, and welcome back to my channel for some more reading of The Eyes and the Impossible by Dave Eggers. My book for the month of August, which is I'm doing the readathon for the American Cancer Society. Links in the description below. We are almost there. In fact, the way it's probably going to work is that until the end of the month, I'll be reading one chapter a day uh, to finish it off. So, very exciting. Now, the last time we read, we found out that Johannes is actually part wolf, which is why they think that, you know, there's a wolf or a coyote around and they are trying to catch him. It really is him they're trying to catch. And so now we've upped the ante here. All right, chapter 30. Here we go. I ran. By now the sky was black and the sun's million siblings were out and shimmering. And I ran from the bison and to Bertrand. I had to see him, to tell him this news, to see if he thought it could be true, if he knew it to be true. Oh, I thought, I don't know if I could bear it if he knew too. I ran in the silver light, so angry. But then I remembered I had happy news too. I would be keeper of the equilibrium. I was furious that I had never known about my blood, my father, my origins. It had been so wrong of them not to tell me, so outrageously wrong. But the thought of becoming keeper shot bolts of happiness through me, and Bertrand would love this news, I knew. I pictured us together, partners, overseers, protectors. We would be unsurpassable. And as I ran to him, I realized he didn't even know that we were freeing the bison today. So much had already happened this day. I realized I hadn't seen him since he last flew over Helene and me yesterday. Before these many important revelations, before the idea of mountains and ships and outrageous schemes of liberation. I ran to Bertrand's nest and found it empty, which was odd and unusual. I could not remember the last time I found his nest empty at night. He was a very regular sleeper, fond of his routine. But if he was not home, I knew he would be at the waterfall, his favorite place. But when I arrived, he was not there. I went to the row of garbage cans near the plaza. He sometimes got hungry just before bedtime, so I raced there, expecting him to be feasting on fries and buns. But when I got there, I found no Bertrand. I did find Sonia and Angus eating heartily from a bag of chips. Gotta keep her energy up, Angus explained. Of course, I said, and asked if either had seen Bertrand, and they said no, not since the afternoon. And though they were not particularly troubled by his absence, they agreed it would be good to locate him, if only to settle any last details for the liberation of the bison. So we split up and looked for him. Pause here. I have a bad feeling about why we are not finding Bertrand anywhere. If you've been following along, he every so often Bertrand would be talking about the final flight of the seagulls before they um are no more, before they pass away, and something sus. He hasn't talked to our boy Johannes in several chapters, and he usually talks with him all the time. So I'm wondering if something is up. So flashing trigger warning signs now for those of you who get upset about characters um, being not alive anymore. So here we go. All right. Angus said he would look in the Cathedral of Flowers, where he'd known Bertrand to go occasionally, even at dusk, to take in the languid, lovely smell of night on leaves and petals. Sonia said she'd go toward the shore to see if any of the other gulls had seen or heard from Bertrand, and if not, she could get them to aid and make quick work of our search. I'm sorry I'm making a big deal out of this, I said, and they said not to worry, not to worry. Bertrand was needed, of course, and every moment was precious given how close we were to beginning what I had been thinking of as the Bison Freedom Gambit. I like the title of that. Bison Freedom Gambit. So they rushed off, and I was happy they did not ask me where I would be looking because I did not want to go, um, and did not want them to think the same terrible thought that was crawling on spindly spider legs into my consciousness. See, I'm wondering if he's thinking the same thing. When I arrived at the archery field, at first I saw nothing, not a soul, not a remnant of a human or mammal or bird. The wind was gusting, and the paper targets on the hay bales were rippling. And I looked up at the sibling suns with gratitude for this empty archery field. And then I saw something white. It was on the ground, on the far end of the field. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It was on the ground, on the far end of the field. It was a small lump, a flash of something pale in the moonlight. Clothing, I thought. Part of some humans' archery kits or clothes. I walked closer and saw gray too, a gray half circle that I decided could simply be the shadow under the human clothing that was the shape. Finally, I drew closer and saw the yellow protuberance, a beak, his beak. It was Bertrand. That was the other thing he liked to do, if you remember. He liked to fly while the archers were shooting their arrows and, kind of like a daredevil thrill seeking. Oh no. Not like this. Not like this. Remember, this is a blind read, boys and girls. I have no idea what's about to happen until I read it. So, yikes. I stopped when I go closer. I wondered if I must get closer. Was it not enough to know he was gone? Why should I have to see him, his mangled body, the arrow piercing him, the fate he invited? And I was angry. I was so angry with him. There was no reason for this, the senseless death. There was no reason to leave this world like this, to leave me like this. Selfish, I thought. Selfish, selfish, selfish. How would I live with this? How will all of us who love you, Bertrand, live with this? Forever we will see you on the field. We will think of your ignominious end. Why do this to us? Leave us with this. All for what? All for what? Oh, my guts. I had a feeling something like this was going to happen. There were little breadcrumbs sprinkled throughout, but still, that's man, I figured he was going to die of old age and, do like his swan song flight off into the ocean area, but oh no. Oh, no buenos. I'm so sorry if this triggered you guys. I will put up a warning in the description before I start, but man, see, this often happens in animal stories like this. There's death or a near-death experience, or some cruel fact of life moment. Yeah, yeah. Well, here's hoping the next chapter is better, or they at least get answers. I hate to leave it like this, but I have to. I'm sorry. Roma, Riva, and Krishna, Auntie Heather loves you very much and love the rest of you guys too. Give yourself hugs, and I'll see you next time. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.